Welcome to Subscriber Story Time. I found a nice assortment of stories that I want to share with you guys. We've got a few Neckbeard stories and many more stories. So without further ado, let's go. This is kind of a short story, but I think it's funny as hell. So I never really thought these dudes actually were real, but I stand corrected. I was at Walmart, and this garage-smelling man was just staring at me. He was sporting a trench coat, a Deadpool t-shirt, with socks and sandals. He was about 5'8", around 200 pounds. I'm waiting for my husband. He's supposed to meet me at the checkout. I'm just messing around on my phone. Well, this man walks up to me and says, "You would look better without makeup." I'm wearing eyeliner and flesh-toned eyeshadow and a jewel bindi. It's a decorative sticker between your eyebrows because I'm a fancy American Hindu chick. Note, I'm not Indian. I'm white as hell. I just like the culture.
Okay.
I did not look up from my phone. Maybe I can see you without it on a date. I was thinking, oh, aren't you just the smooth one?
Thanks, but I'm married.
I don't see a ring. Well, no, I didn't have a ring. My husband's from South India, and they use a Mangal Sutra, and I'm wearing it. Well, I decided not to hold my punches, so I said,
Well, I'm not interested either way. I also don't need a ring to stay faithful. And if I'm lying, take the hint.
I bet you like tall black guys fitness jerks who treat you like crap, only to stay with you because of your body. Now, I've got a mom body. Like, I'm not fat, but I'm not skinny. I have a small pooch tummy, and I'm starting a really small double chin. I'm still pretty, I do say so myself, but I decided to respond.
Yep, pretty much.
Well, he walks off. He joins his group again, and they just stare at me, shooting death glares. It's about 5 minutes when my 5'4", slightly overweight, dark-skinned husband walks over with our oldest daughter. The dude's jaw drops down as I kiss my daughter and put my hand on my husband's back. We don't do the whole PDA crap. My husband walks ahead of me, and I'll walk behind him. As I pass this dude, I say,
Well, you got black right.
Well, that was it. The dude did follow us through the checkout and waited outside and watched us as we put things away. But other than that, nothing really happened. I was really hoping that he would say, tall black guys with big dongs, so that I could say something like,
You got black and big dong right.
Side note, I've learned to shut down people pretty quick. I'm white, and I'm from the US. So when I'm in India, I get hit on a lot. So I became the master of being brutally honest. Sometimes I might share my India stories, but in the Indian dude's defense, they get a lot of ideas how to treat their woman from movies. So I kind of feel bad for making fun of them. But some of them, I don't give a crap. One of my coworkers, let's call him Steven, he had nowhere to go for his summer break. So I let him stay with me so he could work over the summer and save up for tuition. I have a huge house. I live alone and I have 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a hamster. One of my dogs is a little over a year old. I call her Disgusto Pup because she likes to eat cat poop, or pretty much anything nasty she can find on the ground. She's a small beagle and is absolutely enamored with Steven. She follows him around, trying to get his attention. Sometimes when Disgusto Pup is sniffing around him, he'll fart in her face. It's funny, cause she doesn't seem to mind it. She does jump a bit at the sound. One day when I was at work, Steven texted me. He was asking me what kind of shampoo was okay to use on Disgusto Dog. I usually use dog shampoo, but we ran out. So I told him he can use a regular shampoo. I asked why she needed a bath, and he said that he would tell me when I came home from work. To be honest, she gets dirty pretty easy. I usually bathe her at least once a week, so I really don't think much of it. It was nice of him to help out. When he came in for his shift, he came upstairs to tell me what happened. He told me not to get mad. That while he was washing his hands in the kitchen, Disgusto Pup was sniffing around his butt, so he decided to fart and to get her to leave him alone. Long story short, he didn't know that he was sick, so he thought he farted, where he actually had to poop. He was wearing flimsy basketball shorts, so what's supposed to be a fart ended up all over Disgusto Pup's face. I'm not talking about a little, I'm talking about when he turned around, the puppy looked like she was dipped in chocolate. At first, Disgusto Pup was confused. She cocked her head to the side and stared at him for a moment. Then she started to freak out. What once was a small mess in the kitchen very quickly turned into a big mess as he chased this crap-covered dog all over the house. There's crap everywhere. And when he finally caught her and got changed, that's when he texted me about the shampoo. He actually had to give her 3 baths, so to actually get the smell manageable. And it took forever to clean up the walls and the floor. I wish I'd been there. It sounded hilarious. I wasn't mad, but I did get back at him by telling everyone on the staff what happened. Everyone found it hysterical, and we've all been teasing him since. My mother likes lottery scratchers, so sometimes when she only wins a couple of dollars, she'll give the scratcher to me to cash in. One time my mother gave me a $2 scratch card, which was good because I needed gas. I went to the gas station and gave the attendant $2 cash, along with the $2 scratch card, asking for $4 at the pump. When the pump stopped at $2, I went back into the attendant and asked him why it stopped at $2. "Oh yeah, it's supposed to. The $2 scratcher canceled out the $2 cash." I had to think for a minute, unsure if I was the dumb one here. I had to explain to him how redeeming the scratch card works, and that I had given him $4, not 2. He was so confused. His little head couldn't wrap his brain around that concept, so he called up his manager on the phone, because he just couldn't understand. By this point, another customer comes up, wanting to pay for his gas. Well, he overheard the conversation, and was as confused as I was. I apologized for the wait, and explained that I haven't been paid for the week yet, so the only money I had, I needed for gas. Well, this man was sympathetic. After he paid for his gas, he gave me $1 and some change, telling me to make sure I got what I paid for. After talking to the manager and hanging up, the attendant looked up at me unapologetically and said, "Okay, go ahead and put in the rest." I was going to use the change that the man gave me so I can get more gas, but I realized I probably just confused this attendant more, so I just saved myself the trouble. Well, I thanked the other person profusely, and they were happy to help. I used to work at the Dollar Tree. It was during some holiday, like Mother's Day or Valentine's. We made these things called grab-and-goes. You took one of these vases, and they're filled with items from the store, like flowers, candy, little gifts like lotion, and stuffed animals. Sometimes I would tie a balloon to the vase. I really liked making those, because that let me be a little creative at work. Being the Dollar Tree, most customers thought it only cost $1, not realizing that they had to pay for the items inside. Due to the confusion, we had to make a sign saying $5, $6, or $7, depending on how many items were in there. You have to make these things stupid-proof, you know? But unfortunately, that creates a challenge to stupid people to become more stupid. We would have customers who needed it to be explained to them because they neglected to read the sign. One day, I had a customer come up to me, had a grab and go, and when I rung up the price, he looked at me confused, saying he thought it was only $2. I told him how it worked, but he told me there was a sign saying $2. I went over there with him, and he showed me the sign. And the sign read, "You can make one too." The customer had mistaken TOO2 for TWO, and I had to explain the difference between the meanings. He looked confused for a minute, like I was speaking another language, before nodding and leaving. I have worked at a movie theater for almost 3 decades now. One now defunct theater I worked for in California years ago was running a movie The People vs. Larry Flint. If anyone older remembers this one, it was a hard rated R. It was about the founder of the Hustler magazine, so you would guess that would make sense. Our manager told us to let the people know about the explicit material in the film if they had any children with them. I was glad to do this. One lady come up with her tickets. She had kids with her, so I let her know that this movie had a lot of nudity and expletives. She looked confused, and she said,
"This isn't 101 Dalmatians?"
Well, I laughed and I told her it was across the street. She got a refund and she went across the street. I don't like to throw the word trashy around, but this family, they were kinda trashy. They had no shoes, they were dirty, they had uncombed hair, and etc. Hey, I'm okay with it. I have grungy days too. There was a mom, a dad, and 3 kids. One was about 5, one was about 10, and the other one was a preteen. I let them know what was up, and they said okay, and they went in to see the movie. To let you know, there's no judgment here. We just want to inform people. If they feel comfortable bringing their kid to an R-rated movie, I'm fine with it. During the movie, the mom comes out with the youngest child, and she sits in the lobby for the rest of the movie. I believe we compensated her. When the movie let out, the dad storms up to me, and he is furious that I planted a seed in his wife's head about this movie. In his words, "Don't you know that these kids and their computers are able to watch these types of movies?" And blah blah blah. I wanted to say,
Are you f***ing kidding me? Being able to use a computer does not mean that a child is going to be able to comprehend an orgy taking place on screen. Dumbass.
what I actually said was,
I'm sorry, sir. We were simply told to warn parents. It's up to you whether you want to take your kid in or not.
well, he stormed out in a huff with his family. There was a group of people over to the side who overheard it. They came up to me and they said, "That guy let his kids see that movie? Are you kidding?" At least I feel vindicated that someone understood. The wonderful world of customer service. So I work as a cashier at a very prominent department store. I caught these Chinese ladies in the act of trying to price switch. People try to do this all the time. For some reason, they think that they can grab just a random clearance item sticker and just place it over the original barcode. Little do they know, that's not how it works. We still have to scan the original code. They couldn't understand why their $14 item were not coming up to $1.75. When I explained it to them, I get,
Hey, they were all priced like that over there.
sure enough, the minute I asked my coworker to price check, they said,
It's okay, we changed our minds, we don't want it.
the minute they left, I reprinted the receipt and I stuck the clearance sticker on it. Not more than 5 minutes later, our undercover walks over and I cleverly got her attention.
Hey ma'am, it turns out that the item you were looking for was on aisle 33.
Thankfully she caught on and she snuck the receipt from me and she checked it out. As she's reviewing the tapes, she's practically shrieking with laughter. She told me that it was the mother and the daughter from the Chinese restaurant that shares a parking lot with our store. Had an experience with a neckbeard. It happened around March or April of 2017. I was living with some family members. I was going to college. This was a year before I even knew the term neckbeard. I was on the site, similar to Omegle, but imagine that the site was anime related and without the camera option. I can't remember the site's name. Yeah, I know that neckbeards might roam around the site, and I ran into this guy. It was the neckbeard of today's story. Let's call him Beanie Beard. He and I spoke about things like anime, games, and whatever for about 15 to 20 minutes. Until my mom called me down for dinner, and I told Beanie Beard that I had to go. Then he said, "I want to talk to you some more. I'll wait." Unbeknownst to me, I missed that red flag by a mile. So after dinner, and several minutes of talking, he sent me a picture of himself via a link from a random website. In the picture, he was big, chunky big, double chin, long shoulder-length greasy hair, and a beanie, hence the name. He had a red plaid overshirt with a black tee. He also had a wispy chin beard. He looks like a total neckbeard if you replace the trilby for a beanie. He looked like Severus Snipes that took on the stereotypical neckbeard route. And he was wearing geeky punk looking stuff from Hot Topics. Man, he asked, "You have a Tumblr account?" Well, I stupidly said yes. That was another red flag that I missed. Well, he followed me on the site, and he started private messaging me. To put it very politely, they were very lewd gifts, and this was way before the lewd purge of December 2018. Hell, he even said he loved me, even though we barely knew each other. I don't know if he was desperate, or he was just thirsty. I'm going for both. I was really creeped out. I didn't know how to block this guy, but I did wish to block him then and there. I told him that I had to help my family member with something, so I logged off. I stayed off for the rest of the day. So from that time to early fall of 2018, I ghosted this muck and hardly used Tumblr at all. He tried to get a hold of me whenever I was on the site, and surprisingly, he didn't try to pull some of the crap that neckbeards are known to do when they're being ignored. Sometimes around September of 2018, a small YouTuber, I can't remember his username, made a video about Beanie Beard, about him sending lewd pictures to minors, like around 15 or 16 years old. So basically, this guy was on the run for being a perv and a pedo. So I finally blocked this meghead on Tumblr. I hope to God that he gets caught. I never want to speak to him again. Thank you again for joining me for this edition of Randomly Funny Subscriber Stories. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, that last neckbeard, yeah, he was thirsty and desperate. Anyone that thirsty, any attempts to get a drink, so to speak, is desperate. And also, I love Red Dwarf, to those who know what I'm talking about. I want to give a thanks to everyone who sent their story in that I read, and also the ones I haven't read yet. I will get to those very shortly, hopefully. Soon. I want to give a special thanks to my patrons and also to my members if I have any yet. If you want to become a patron, the link's down in the description. If you want to stay with the YouTube thing, the button is just below the video that says join. Either way, I appreciate the support. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to your comments. So until later, you smegheads, this is Dallas, signing off.